If you don't control your mind, it will control you. Every emotion you feel, every choice you make, every reaction you have, begins in the mind. Your mind can be your greatest ally, or your most dangerous enemy. It can build you, or it can break you. The weak let their minds run wild. The strong train it like a weapon. In this audiobook, you'll learn how to master that weapon, to silence chaos, destroy distraction, and become unstoppable. So listen closely, because this is not motivation. This is mental reprogramming. Welcome to Control Your Mind Before It Controls You. Chapter 1. Stop being a slave to your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Let that sentence echo for a moment. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. Most people live their entire lives ruled by the voice in their head, that running commentary of fear, doubt, comparison, and emotion. They wake up with noise, they fall asleep with noise, and they never question where it comes from. They think because they think, it must be truth. But that's the first lie the mind tells you. Your thoughts are not facts. They are not commands. They are suggestions. And most of them are garbage, recycled fears, old programming, the noise of society echoing inside you. You have a choice. You always have a choice. The average person is likely unaware of this. The average person reacts. They feel anger, and they lash out. They feel fear, and they freeze. They feel insecure, and they quit. That's mental slavery, obeying every emotion as if it's your master. But here's the truth. Your mind is a tool. A weapon. And every weapon needs control. If you don't train it, it will turn on you. Think about it. The same mind that can create a dream can also create doubt. The same imagination that can build a vision can also build a prison. It's not about having thoughts. It's about directing them. That's the key. 1. Watch, don't react. The first step to control is observation. When anger rises, don't react, watch it rise. When fear whispers, don't run, listen, then question. That's detachment. That's power. You must separate yourself from your thoughts. Imagine your mind as a screen. Thoughts are clouds drifting across it. Some are dark, some are light, but none of them define the sky itself. You are the sky. You are the observer. When you understand that, emotion loses its grip. You stop saying, "I am angry," and you start saying, "Anger is present." Do you see the difference? One makes you feel the emotion. The other makes you the master of it. You have a choice. Every single time. 2. The trap of automatic thinking. Most of what runs through your head isn't conscious thought, it's repetition. It's a loop of reactions and patterns you've practiced for years. You think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, take the same actions, and then wonder why nothing changes. It's not life that's stuck. It's your mental script. You don't need new motivation. You need new awareness. The next time your mind says, "I can't do this," don't argue, observe. Don't fight the thought, expose it. Ask, where did that come from? Who taught me that? Is that voice even mine? Because here's the hard truth. Most of your thoughts aren't yours. They're inherited from parents, from teachers, from a fear-driven society. You're not failing. You're repeating someone else's programming. That's why mental control begins with awareness. You can't master what you won't observe. So start watching the mind like a scientist studies a subject. Detach. Record. Refuse to take it personally. The goal is not to stop thinking. The goal is to stop believing every thought. 3. Control through conscious choice. Now listen carefully. You can't control the first thought that enters your mind, but you can control the second. And that's where power begins. The first thought is the reflex. The second thought is the decision. Example, someone insults you. The first thought is anger, an automatic, emotional response. The second thought can be a choice. Do I give this power or not? That's mental control. That's discipline. You can't stop waves from coming, but you can learn to surf. That's what this chapter is about. When you feel fear, choose focus. When you feel doubt, choose action. When you feel anger, choose awareness. You have a choice. You always do. And every time you choose awareness over reaction, you're rewiring your mind for control. That's not theory, that's neuroscience. The more you break a reaction loop, the weaker it gets. This is mental training. Every emotion, every impulse is a rep in the gym of control. 4. Detachment is power. Let's talk about detachment, not from life, but from the voice inside your head. You don't have to believe everything it says. Your mind will say, "You're not ready. You'll fail. No one cares." And you can respond, "Thank you for sharing, but I'm in control now." That's the dialogue of mastery. That's the voice of separation. When you detach, the mind loses its authority. The emotional storms still come, but they no longer drown you. You become the calm in the center, steady, deliberate, unshakable. Remember this, power is calm. Anyone can scream. Anyone can panic. But the strong stay still. The strong watch. Detachment is not indifference, it's clarity. It's not about suppressing emotion, it's about directing it. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need circumstances to be perfect. You just need command over your internal state. That's real control. 5. From reaction to response. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is this: the ordinary reacts. The extraordinary responds. Reaction is automatic. Response is deliberate. The more you practice awareness, the more distance you create between stimulus and action. That distance is freedom. That's where you choose your next move, not from impulse, but from intention. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Reaction, rage. Response, breath, awareness, control. You didn't lose. You won. Because you didn't surrender control of your mind. Every moment of irritation is a test. Every spark of emotion is a drill. This is your training ground. The world doesn't make you angry. You do. The world doesn't stress you. You choose stress. And that means you can choose something else. You have that power. Always. 6. The practice of mental observation. Start simple. Every morning, before touching your phone, observe. What's the first thought that appears? Don't judge it. Just watch. Throughout the day, catch your mind drifting. Notice what it talks about. It's like training a wild animal. Consistent, patient awareness. Write down your most common thoughts for a week. You'll be shocked how repetitive they are. That's the illusion of chaos. Your mind looks busy, but it's just looping the same few fears. The moment you see that, control begins. Because awareness dissolves illusion. The light of attention burns away the fog of mental noise. This is your practice. Observe. Detach. Choose. Over and over. Until it becomes your nature. 7. The power of separation. Say it aloud right now. I am not my thoughts. Repeat it. Again. Louder. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are not your anxiety. You are the one watching those things. And the watcher always has control. This is the foundation of everything that follows in this audiobook. If you can separate who you are from what you think, you win half the war. Because only then can you train the mind instead of being trained by it. You don't have to silence it, you have to master it. You don't have to escape it, you have to understand it. That's the beginning of control. You've just taken the first step, learning that your thoughts don't command you. You've seen that you can observe them, challenge them, and redirect them. This is how control begins, not through force, but through awareness. You've learned to stop being a slave to your thoughts. Now, it's time to go deeper. Because once the noise inside you quiets, you'll face the next enemy, distraction. You've mastered awareness. Now, let's master silence. Chapter 2, Kill the Noise Inside You. Silence isn't empty. It's where control begins. Your mind feeds on noise. Endless, pointless, addictive noise. The ping of notifications. The scroll of other people's lives. The background hum of opinions, debates, drama, and distraction. You think you're consuming it, but the truth is, it's consuming you. Noise is the diet of the undisciplined mind. It fills your head with static until you forget what your own thoughts sound like. It keeps you reactive, not reflective. It keeps you chasing, not creating. It keeps you busy, but never clear. That's why you can't focus. That's why you feel restless even when nothing's wrong. Because silence terrifies a noisy mind. But if you want control, real unbreakable control, you must kill the noise inside you. 1. The addiction to noise. Let's tell the truth. You are addicted to stimulation. You wake up and check your phone before you even check your breath. You scroll while you eat, while you walk, while you think. You can't stand still for 10 seconds without reaching for something to distract you. You've trained your brain to fear quiet. When the noise stops, the mind panics. Because silence forces you to face yourself. It reveals what you've been running from, your fears, your boredom, your inner emptiness. So you fill every gap with noise, hoping the volume outside will drown out the discomfort inside. But here's the hard truth. The more noise you feed your mind, the weaker it gets. You have a choice. You can be addicted to distraction, or you can be addicted to clarity. But you can't have both. That's the key. 2. Mental junk food. Every scroll, every headline, every argument online, that's mental junk food. It gives a quick hit, a rush of novelty, a taste of excitement, and then it leaves you empty. Just like sugar, it keeps you craving more while draining your strength. And like junk food, it feels harmless in small doses. But over time, it rewires your brain. You lose patience. You lose depth. You lose focus. You stop thinking and start consuming. Your mental diet determines your mental health. Feed your mind garbage, and you'll think like garbage. Feed it silence, and you'll think with clarity. You don't need another video, another podcast, another debate. You need space. You need stillness. You need silence. Because silence is the detox. You can't build a strong mind while feeding it noise. 3. The power of intentional silence. Start small. 5 minutes. That's all it takes to begin. 5 minutes of no sound. No scrolling. No stimulation. Just you, sitting in stillness. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. Your brain will resist. It will scream for distraction. It will invent tasks. It will tell you, this is stupid. That's not you talking. That's the noise dying. Stay with it. Observe it. Let the waves crash, and eventually, they'll calm. Because the mind is like muddy water. Stir it constantly, and it stays cloudy. Leave it alone, and it clears on its own. That's why silence isn't empty. It's restorative. It's where your mind resets. It's where ideas form, creativity blooms, and intuition whispers. When was the last time you heard your own thoughts without interruption? When was the last time you felt your breath, or the sound of your heartbeat, without distraction? That's the practice. That's control. 5 minutes today. 10 minutes tomorrow. Build the muscle of stillness. Because silence is not weakness, it's discipline. 4. The war between focus and chaos. Your brain has two states, focus and chaos. Noise fuels chaos. Silence fuels focus. When your mind is flooded with input, it can't prioritize. Every sound, every post, every message demands attention. That's why you feel drained, not because you worked too hard, but because your attention was stolen. Noise fragments the mind. Silence integrates it. Every great thinker, every high performer, every disciplined mind, they all have one thing in common. They protect their silence. They schedule it. They guard it like oxygen. You can't build greatness while drowning in noise. If you want focus, you must first earn quiet. If you want clarity, you must first reject chaos. It's not about cutting off the world. It's about reclaiming your mind. You have a choice. Protect your silence, or lose your focus. There's no middle ground. 5. The discipline of quiet. Silence is not something you find. It's something you create. You make it through boundaries. Turn off notifications. Delete what doesn't feed your purpose. Schedule time where no one has access to you. You don't owe constant availability to anyone. You don't need their permission to disappear for a while. You are allowed to be unreachable. That's discipline. Silence trains you to be less reactive. It builds patience, presence, and perspective. It's how you stop the mind from running wild and start steering it toward what matters. Every time you choose quiet over chaos, you strengthen your mental control. You're not ignoring the world, you're mastering yourself. 6. The fear of stillness. Let's be honest, silence is scary at first. Because when the noise fades, your truth appears. You'll hear your doubts. You'll face your regrets. You'll confront your loneliness. And that's why most people run from silence. They'd rather hear anything than themselves. But you can't heal what you won't hear. You can't master what you refuse to face. So sit with it. Let silence reveal what's been buried under distraction. Let it show you the parts of yourself that need work. That's not weakness, that's courage. Real power begins when you stop escaping your own company. You don't need more entertainment. You need introspection. You don't need more noise. You need awareness. 7. What happens when you kill the noise? When you kill the noise, something incredible happens. You start hearing truth. Not opinions. Not trends. Not fear. Truth. Your intuition gets louder. Your focus sharpens. Your emotions are calm. You stop reacting to everything around you and start acting with purpose. You begin to feel grounded again, deliberate, composed, clear. You realize that all the chaos outside was only reflecting the chaos inside. And when you quiet the inside, the outside loses its power. That's control. That's freedom. You no longer need constant input to feel alive. You become enough, even in stillness. You no longer seek stimulation. You choose attention. You no longer drown in noise. You breathe in silence. Because silence isn't empty. It's full of strength, clarity, and direction. 8. The daily ritual. Here's your practice. Each morning before you do anything, no phone, no music, no distractions. Sit for 5 minutes. Just breathe. Just listen. Do it daily. 5 minutes will become 10. 10 will become 20. You'll start craving silence instead of noise. You'll start protecting it instead of escaping it. And over time, you'll realize this truth. The world is loud. The mind doesn't have to be. That's the essence of control, not shutting out life, but mastering how you experience it. You can't command the external world until you command your internal one. That's the law of focus. That's mental strength. You've learned to quiet the storm. You've learned to reclaim your peace. And now, your mind is finally ready to listen. Silence gave you clarity. But clarity means nothing if emotion still drives you. You've killed the noise. Now, it's time to control the signal. Chapter 3. Emotions are signals, not orders. Feel it. Control it. Command it. That's the mantra of emotional mastery. You can't stop emotions. You're not supposed to. Emotions are signals, not orders. They're feedback, not commands. But most people get it wrong. They think emotional control means suppression. They think strength means feeling nothing. That's not control. That's denial. And denial is weakness disguised as toughness. Control means you feel it fully, but you don't feed it blindly. You experience emotion, but you don't obey it. The difference between the weak and the strong isn't emotion, it's reaction. The weak get moved by emotion. The strong move with emotion, intentionally. You have a choice. Always. 1. The truth about emotions. Your emotions are messengers. Every feeling you have, anger, fear, sadness, excitement, carries information. Anger says, a boundary was crossed. Fear says, prepare. Sadness says, something mattered. Excitement says, you're on the right track. The problem isn't emotion. The problem is obedience. You treat every feeling like a command. You get angry and you explode. You get scared and you freeze. You feel doubt and you quit. That's emotional slavery. You're living as if your emotions are the boss, and you're just an employee. You are not your emotions. You are the one commanding them. That's the key. The mind generates emotion. You decide what to do with it. Feel it. Control it. Command it. 2. Suppression versus redirection. Let's destroy a myth. Controlling emotion does not mean suppressing it. Suppression is pretending you're calm while you're boiling inside. Suppression is smiling while you're crumbling. Suppression is silence that rots. Control is transformation. You take the same emotion and redirect it toward your purpose. Anger can destroy, or it can build. Fear can paralyze, or it can sharpen. Sadness can drown, or it can deepen wisdom. You don't get rid of emotion, you retrain it. You turn raw energy into focused action. That's power. Example, you feel angry. Instead of reacting, channel it. Train harder. Focus deeper. Speak with precision instead of volume. That's redirection. When you feel fear, don't deny it, study it. Ask, what is this fear trying to show me? Fear often points directly to the area you must grow in. Every emotion has a use, if you use it. That's emotional intelligence. That's maturity. That's control. 3. The biology of emotion. Let's get scientific for a second. An emotion is a chemical reaction, a wave that lasts 90 seconds in the body. After that, it only stays alive because you keep feeding it with thought. You reply to the insult. You imagine the failure. You keep the fire burning. That's not biology, that's habit. You don't need to stop emotions. You need to stop fueling them. The moment you stop replaying the story, the emotion dissolves. The body calms. The mind clears. That's control, not because you fought emotion, but because you refuse to feed it. You don't need more calmness techniques. You need awareness. That's the key. 4. The art of pausing. Every emotion demands one thing from you, reaction. It says, act now. It says, say it now. It says, do something right now. But control begins in the pause. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies your freedom. When anger hits, breathe. When fear rises, watch it. When sadness comes, allow it. Don't run. Don't fight. Just pause. The pause is power. It breaks the automatic chain. It reminds you that you decide what happens next. The strongest people in the world are not emotionless. They're emotionally deliberate. They don't let a moment of emotion destroy a decade of discipline. Feel it. Control it. Command it. 5. Emotional discipline in action. Let's bring this down to real life. You wake up feeling unmotivated. Emotion says, skip it. Discipline says, do it anyway. You receive criticism. Emotion says, defend. Discipline says, learn. Someone disrespects you. Emotion says, attack. Discipline says, stay composed. That's the battle, emotion versus direction. It's not about pretending you don't feel. It's about deciding who's in charge when you do. You have a choice, be led by impulse, or be led by intention. Every reaction is a decision. Every decision is practice. Every moment is training. You're either mastering your emotions, or they're mastering you. 6. Turning emotion into energy. Energy doesn't disappear, it transforms. Emotion is energy. That's why we call it emotion, energy in motion. You can't destroy it, but you can direct it. Turn fear into preparation. Turn anger into fuel. Turn pain into perspective. Every emotion can serve your mission if you refuse to let it sabotage it. When you feel pressure, don't panic, perform. When you feel jealousy, don't resent, improve. When you feel regret, don't dwell, evolve. That's redirection. That's emotional mastery. You don't need peace from the absence of emotion. You need peace from command over it. 7. The myth of calm people. People often admire calm individuals, the ones who never seem shaken. But real calmness isn't the lack of feeling. It's control in motion. The calm person still feels fear, they just use it as data. They still feel anger, they just channel it into precision. They still feel sadness, they just let it teach them, not drown them. That's the truth. The most disciplined people feel everything. They've just learned to translate emotion into action instead of reaction. They don't suppress. They sublimate. They don't escape. They elevate. You can be the same. Feel it. Control it. Command it. 8. The daily emotional check-in. Here's your practice. Every day, ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? What triggered it? What can I do with it? This process trains awareness. It gives emotional direction. Don't judge your feelings. Don't shame them. Use them. Your emotions are signals trying to guide you toward mastery. If you listen without obedience. When you feel anxiety, let it sharpen your focus. When you feel frustration, let it demand improvement. When you feel doubt, let it drive preparation. Emotions aren't enemies. They're instructions waiting for interpretation. You have a choice: feed them and lose control, or lead them and gain it. That's emotional strength. 9. The transformation. When you learn to control emotion, everything changes. You stop reacting to people. You respond to principles. You stop chasing validation. You start building self-respect. You stop living in storms. You become the calm that others seek. You realize that emotion doesn't define you, it refines you. You no longer suppress or explode. You redirect. You command. That's mastery. That's balance. That's control. Closing transition. You've learned that emotion isn't the enemy, obedience is. You've learned that power isn't suppression, it's redirection. You've learned how to feel fully, yet respond deliberately. You've learned the discipline of emotional command. But awareness and emotion are nothing without action. Now that your emotions obey you, it's time to channel them into something bigger: discipline. You've mastered emotion. Now, let's build consistency. Chapter 4: Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that never dies. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on decision. Motivation says, "I'll do it when I feel ready." Discipline says, "I'll do it because I said I would." That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Between those who talk about changing their life and those who actually do. You felt motivation before, after a movie, a speech, a quote, a success story. You feel unstoppable for an hour, a day, maybe a week. But then, it fades. You wake up tired. You don't feel like doing it. The feeling's gone. And so, you stop. That's the trap. You thought motivation was fuel. But it's not fuel. It's firework smoke, loud, bright, temporary. Discipline is the engine. You don't need more motivation. You need repetition. You need routine. You need to build a mind that acts without negotiation. Because discipline doesn't care if it's raining. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, sad, or uninspired. Discipline acts anyway. That's the key. Think about it. Every professional athlete trains when no one's watching. Every soldier gets up before dawn because it's routine, not because it's exciting. Every CEO, every performer, every master in any field, they rely on systems, not moods. They don't wake up every day feeling ready. They wake up trained. They wake up programmed. They wake up committed. That's the power you must build, the ability to act when emotions resist. You don't need the perfect morning. You don't need motivation from social media. You need consistency, quiet, relentless, emotionless consistency. That's where control begins. Here's the truth. Your emotions are toddlers. They want candy now. They don't care about the long game. Motivation feeds that toddler, will work when it feels fun. But disciplined parents that toddler, will work whether we want to or not. Every time you obey your emotions, you weaken your control. Every time you act despite them, you strengthen it. That's the formula. Action, repetition, identity. Do the thing once. That's action. Do it again. That's repetition. Do it until it's who you are. That's identity. That's how discipline replaces motivation. Let's make it practical. When you don't feel like working out, do one set. When you don't feel like studying, open the book for 10 minutes. When you don't feel like showing up, Show up anyway. Because it's not about intensity. It's about consistency. Small acts, repeated daily, beat big emotional bursts that fade. You don't climb mountains in one leap. You climb step by step, even when your legs burn. Discipline is doing the boring work when no one's clapping. That's where greatness hides. When it's boring, painful, or slow, that's where strength is built. You train discipline in those moments. Not when it's easy, not when it's fun, but when it's miserable. That's your gym. That's your battlefield. That's your test. Most people quit when motivation dies. The disciplined keep moving. That's why they win. They don't say, "I feel unmotivated." They say, "I have a standard." Understand this. Standards are stronger than emotions. Standards don't change when life gets hard. Standards don't care about mood swings. That's the power of discipline. It anchors you when the storm comes. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline keeps you standing. When you build discipline, you stop chasing feelings. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop waiting for energy, time, or mood. You act. Then the feeling follows. That's the secret no one tells you. Action creates emotion, not the other way around. You move first. Then motivation catches up. It's not about how you feel before you act. It's about how you'll feel after. Every act of discipline deposits confidence. Every time you push through resistance, your self-respect compounds. When you break your own promises, you lose trust in yourself. When you keep them, you build it. So ask yourself, are you someone who obeys emotion or someone who honors commitment? Because one leads to chaos. The other leads to control. Remember this mantra: when it's boring, painful, or slow, that's where strength is built. Say it again. When it's boring, keep going. When it's painful, keep going. When it's slow, keep going. That's the discipline mindset. When your mind says, "Not today," discipline says, "Exactly today." When your feelings say, "I'm tired," discipline says, "Good, let's train that weakness." When life gets loud, messy, uncertain, discipline brings order. That's how you win. Not with hype. With habit. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people start a business. The first is fueled by motivation, new ideas, excitement, vision. The second is fueled by discipline, structure, routine, and patience. The first burns bright for a few months. Then he gets bored. He pivots. He quits. The second keeps building, brick by brick, even when no one's watching. 5 years later, who wins? The disciplined one. Always. Because motivation starts movements, but discipline finishes them. You have a choice. Wait for the spark, or become the fire. Wait for inspiration, or build systems that don't need it. You can either live as a slave to your emotions or as a commander of your actions. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a muscle. Build the muscle. You do it through repetition, through structure, through non-negotiable standards. That's how you rise above distraction, procrastination, and laziness. That's how you control your mind before it controls you. Because the world rewards the disciplined, not the motivated. The disciplined finish what they start. The disciplined stay calm under pressure. The disciplined build habits that outlast emotion. That's mastery. That's the mindset you're building. So when motivation dies, and it will, let discipline drive. When feelings fade, and they will, let commitment command. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. Discipline doesn't wait for comfort. Discipline doesn't break. You master the difference between emotion and control. Now, it's time to talk about what drives that control from within. Because after discipline comes focus, the art of cutting out everything that weakens your power. Chapter 5. Focus is the new superpower. Focus isn't just productivity. It's power. It's control. It's the ability to aim your mind like a laser instead of spraying it like a fire hose. Right now, your attention is under attack. Every scroll, every notification, every pointless argument, it's not free. Someone profits every time you lose focus. Every second your mind drifts, you're being trained to obey distraction. Focus is the new superpower because attention has become the new currency. The one who controls their attention controls their future. The one who loses it, loses everything. That's the truth. That's the war you're in. You think distraction is harmless. It's not. Every scroll is a withdrawal from your potential. Every minute wasted is a small act of surrender. Your mind is like a muscle. What you focus on grows stronger. What you neglect weakens. If you train distraction, you'll live distracted. If you train focus, you'll live powerfully. That's the equation. That's the game. Every time you check your phone mid-task, you're telling your brain, this isn't important. And your brain listens. It lowers its standards. It stops taking your goals seriously. That's why most people can't finish anything, because their mind has forgotten what deep focus feels like. But here's the truth. 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted focus can outwork 10 hours of chaos. That's not exaggeration. That's reality. Focus multiplies time. Distraction divides it. Guard your focus. Guard your power. You want to transform your life? Start by controlling your attention. Because everything you want, mastery, wealth, peace, confidence, demands focus. You can't build anything if your mind is scattered. Every time you say yes to distraction, you say no to discipline. Every time you open a useless app, you close the door to progress. That's the trade most people make, comfort for clarity. But not you. Not anymore. You don't need more hours. You need sharper hours. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by focusing better. Let's make this real. Take your phone. Look at it. That small device owns more of your attention than your dreams do. You reach for it without thinking. It's the first thing you touch in the morning and the last thing you see before sleep. That's not a habit. That's addiction. And every addiction feeds on attention. It's time to flip the power. Turn your phone into a tool, not a trap. Delete what weakens you. Silence what distracts you. Use it with intent, not impulse. Set boundaries. Block noise. Build silence. Because silence is your weapon. Every great mind, every master performer, they protect their focus like treasure. They design their environment to win. No noise. No clutter. No wasted energy. That's the secret of elite performance. Control of attention. Guard your focus. Guard your power. Here's what focus really is. Focus is presence. It's being fully here, fully aware, fully locked in. When you focus deeply, the world disappears. Time slows down. You enter flow, that state where everything clicks, where energy aligns with intention. That's when creation happens. That's when results multiply. You can't buy that state. You have to earn it, through discipline, through repetition, through resistance. Because focus is built, not found. Ask yourself this. How many times have you started something and stopped halfway because your mind wandered? You weren't lazy. You were unfocused. And unfocused energy leads to unfinished lives. Focus makes you dangerous, because it gives you control. And control is freedom. When you can direct your attention anywhere, anytime, nothing can manipulate you. Not trends. Not people. Not emotions. You become untouchable. That's what mastery feels like, being the one in charge of your own mind. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing one thing with full intensity. Don't multitask. That's a myth. Don't chase 10 goals. Chase one until it's complete. Don't spread your energy thin. Sharpen it. Because a scattered mind is a weak mind. A focused mind is a weapon. If you ever feel lost, overwhelmed, or stuck, pause and ask, what deserves my attention right now? That question is powerful. It pulls you back into control. Focus is the art of saying no. Saying no to comfort. No to noise. No to distractions disguised as productivity. Because the world will always give you more to look at, more to react to, more to lose yourself in. You win when you stop reacting and start directing. Here's your challenge. Train your attention like a muscle. Start with 1 hour of deep focus daily. No phone. No noise. Just one task. You'll feel restless at first. That's your addiction screaming. Stay with it. Every minute you resist distraction, you build strength. Every time you return to your focus, you're taking your power back. Do it daily. Build that muscle. Because your future depends on it. Guard your focus. Guard your power. Remember this, attention is finite. Once spent, it's gone forever. Spend it wisely. Your dreams need focus. Your discipline needs focus. Your peace needs focus. If you don't control your attention, the world will. If you don't decide what deserves your focus, someone else will decide for you. And they'll use it to sell you, distract you, and control you. That's why focus isn't optional. It's survival. So make a decision. From now on, you protect your mind like it's gold, because it is. No wasted scrolling. No mindless noise. No stolen hours. Every second of focus compounds into power. Every minute of clarity builds a stronger version of you. The unfocused chase everything. The focused build empires. Guard your focus. Guard your power. You've built discipline. You've built control. Chapter 6. Detach from the need to be liked. Validation is the mind's poison. It feels sweet. It tastes good. But it weakens you. Every time you chase approval, you give away power. Every time you adjust yourself just to be accepted, you sell control. And here's the hard truth. People-pleasing isn't kindness. It's fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of silence. Fear of standing alone. But listen carefully. No one respects the person who constantly seeks approval. They respect the one who doesn't need it. The one who walks their own path. The one who acts from conviction, not consensus. The one who can be silent, even when others demand a reaction. Respect silence more than applause. That's the mindset of strength. Most people live like performers in a play they didn't audition for. They adjust their tone, their opinions, even their dreams, all for a little validation. They chase likes, comments, attention, all forms of digital applause. But the more you chase approval, the more approval controls you. You begin to move, speak, and think in ways that are not yours. You become a puppet, and every string is someone's opinion. That's not freedom. That's slavery disguised as social acceptance. You can't control what people think. You can only control what you give your energy to. That's the key. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop depending on them for worth. You can respect others without seeking their validation. You can love others without needing their constant approval. Because true confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It doesn't beg to be understood. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you become unpredictable and powerful. People can't manipulate silence. They can't control what they can't predict. That's why quiet confidence scares the insecure, because it can't be swayed by opinion. You have to understand this. The approval you chase will never fill you. The more you get, the more you'll crave. It's an endless loop. The algorithm of the mind rewards attention like a drug, and every compliment becomes another hit. But eventually, you'll crash. Because external validation is temporary. Internal validation is permanent. You don't need applause. You need alignment. Do what's right, not what's popular. Do what's necessary, not what's expected. Do what feels true, not what earns claps. Respect silence more than applause. Let's make this practical. When you speak, don't explain, state. When you act, don't justify, execute. When you're misunderstood, don't rush to fix it, let it be. Because when you constantly explain yourself, you hand people your control. You tell them, you decide if I'm valid. Stop. They don't decide. You do. Every moment you stand firm in silence, your power grows. Every time you resist the urge to please, your control sharpens. People will test you. They'll question your motives, your choices, your silence. But remember this, the more you explain, the weaker you look. Strong minds communicate through clarity, not persuasion. Detachment is misunderstood. People think it means being cold or emotionless. It doesn't. Detachment means this: you can stand alone without falling apart. You can walk away from noise without guilt. You can say no without explaining why. You can disagree without apologizing for your opinion. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. Because if you always need to be liked, you'll betray yourself to fit in. And betrayal of self is the highest form of weakness. Ask yourself this: who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when no one praises you? That's the real you, the one untouched by validation. You don't need applause to prove your worth. You don't need agreement to confirm your truth. You only need your own approval, your own quiet knowing that you're walking the right path. Respect silence more than applause. That's where confidence grows, in the quiet, not the crowd. Let's break a common illusion. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. Most are too busy thinking about themselves. Their opinions change with trends, with moods, with gossip. Why would you live your life by something that unstable? You have to stop auditioning for acceptance. You already belong to your own mission. Detach from the need to be liked, and you'll attract real respect. Because real ones don't chase attention. They command it, through presence, through self-control, through silence. That's the paradox of strength. The less you seek validation, the more validation seeks you. Start practicing detachment daily. When you feel the urge to explain, pause. When you crave praise, pause. When you want to defend your choices, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this for truth or for approval? If it's for approval, stop. Silence is louder than justification. Stillness is stronger than reaction. Every pause you take strengthens your inner control. Respect silence more than applause. Let me give you a simple truth. The crowd claps for you today and mocks you tomorrow. If your sense of self depends on their reaction, you'll rise and fall with every opinion. But if your sense of self depends on your values, you'll stay unshakable, no matter what they say. That's power. That's peace. You become untouchable when your self-worth no longer needs witnesses. So from today, stop explaining. Stop defending. Stop waiting for permission to be who you are. Your silence speaks for you. Your actions define you. Your peace is your loudest statement. The world is noisy with people begging to be liked. Stand apart, quiet, composed, certain. Respect silence more than applause. You've now learned to protect your energy from validation. Chapter 7. Turn pain into power. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is universal. But avoidance? That's optional. Most people run from pain. They numb it with distractions, justify it with excuses, and pray it disappears. But every time you avoid discomfort, you shrink. You weaken. You train your mind to fear growth. Pain is not the enemy, avoidance is. Every setback, every failure, every harsh truth is a lesson disguised as suffering. You can let it break you, or you can use it to build power. That's the difference between victims and victors. Pain is a teacher. Listen to it. Don't escape it. When life hits you, and it will, you have a choice. Cry, complain, or conquer. The pain itself is neutral. What matters is how you respond. Pain is raw energy. You can waste it, or you can channel it. Anger from betrayal, fuel for focus. Fear of risk, fuel for preparation. Loss from failure, fuel for improvement. Feel the pain. Understand it. Redirect it. Command it. Controlled pain trains resilience. It shapes character. It teaches discipline. You don't need comfort to grow, you need resistance. That's why the strongest humans, the peak performers, the elite leaders, they all seek controlled hardship. Cold showers, intense workouts, early mornings, difficult conversations. Every act of resistance is a lesson in using pain as power. Every moment you embrace it, your mental muscle strengthens. Pain is a teacher. Listen to it. Don't escape it. When you get rejected, don't shrink. Expand. When you fail, don't hide. Analyze. When life punishes, don't retaliate impulsively. Transform. Controlled suffering trains the mind to endure, to anticipate, to overcome. Avoidance only teaches the mind weakness. Strength is born where comfort ends. You have a choice. Shrink from pain and remain small, or use pain and rise. Pain is a teacher. Listen to it. Don't escape it. Setbacks aren't punishments. They're signposts. They point to where growth is waiting. The stronger you get at embracing them, the faster you ascend. Every discomfort endured becomes a building block for mental control. You will always face challenges. That's life. But the difference is how you react. The weak blame, the strong learn. The weak complain, the strong act. The weak retreat, the strong advance. Pain is a teacher. Listen to it. Don't escape it. When you accept suffering as part of the process, life stops being a threat. It becomes a classroom. You no longer fear discomfort. You use it. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a master of your response. Controlled pain is discipline in motion. Resisting the easy route is freedom disguised as struggle. Endure it. Embrace it. Convert it into power. Pain is a teacher. Listen to it. Don't escape it. And when you have mastered this, your mind grows stronger. Your control becomes unshakable. You are no longer swayed by fear, by anger, by frustration. You are steady, you are decisive, and you are powerful. Next, we move from the lessons of pain to the power of structure. Chapter 8. Build an unbreakable routine. Routine equals stability. Chaos hates structure. The world throws distractions, emergencies, and emotions at you constantly. Without structure, you drift. Without ritual, you react. Without predictability, you surrender control. Rituals are your fortress. Habits are your armor. Discipline is the gatekeeper. Every morning you follow your routine, every habit you honor. You cement control over your day before it begins. Structure kills weakness. Look at high performers. Athletes, CEOs, military leaders. Their routines aren't for comfort. They're for dominance. They set the tone for the day before the world interferes. Wake up early. Exercise. Plan. Execute. Eat, sleep, repeat. It's predictable. It's boring. It's consistent. But that consistency produces results that chaos cannot touch. Without a routine, you leave your life to chance. You surrender hours, energy, and focus to randomness. With a routine, you take power back. You dictate your own schedule. You command your own mind. Structure kills weakness. A strong routine creates momentum. It removes decision fatigue. It removes excuses. Every action becomes automatic, yet purposeful. You don't rely on willpower alone. You rely on design. Morning control equals daily dominance. A predictable structure shapes unpredictable outcomes. When emotions resist, habits act. When distractions attack, rituals protect. When laziness tempts, routine enforces. Structure kills weakness. Your morning is your battlefield. Win it, and the day submits. Lose it, and chaos wins. Every tiny act in the morning compounds: reading, writing, training, meditation, planning. These small victories amplify discipline across hours, weeks, and months. Rituals create predictability when emotions don't. They turn potential energy into kinetic energy. They convert chaos into order. They anchor the mind when the world tries to pull it apart. Structure kills weakness. But here's the trap: routine can become automatic without awareness. Don't let it become mindless. Your rituals must serve a purpose, not comfort. Challenge yourself within structure. Push boundaries. Build resilience. Discipline without intention is hollow. Structure kills weakness. Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than normal. Move your body. Plan your top priorities. Protect that time. Defend it. Guard it like gold. Gradually, expand. Build rituals around every area that defines your life: energy, focus, health, skill, and mental strength. Predictable actions produce unpredictable results. That's the paradox of routine. Master it, and you control more than just your day, you control your life. Structure kills weakness. When you internalize routine, you remove excuses. You no longer rely on mood, willpower, or fleeting motivation. You operate on design, precision, and discipline. Your day bends to your command, and the world must adapt to your momentum. Next, we shift focus from structure to discomfort, because routine alone cannot forge unbreakable mental muscle. Chapter 9. Destroy the comfort addiction. Comfort kills control. Every easy choice weakens the mental muscle. Humans are wired for ease, warmth, convenience, predictability. But control, power, and mastery require resistance. Every time you choose comfort, you relinquish a bit of your mental strength. Every decision to avoid challenge is a small surrender. Every swipe, every nap, every skipped task, it compounds into weakness. Seek discomfort. Find strength. Controlled discomfort is training. Cold showers, early wake-ups, difficult conversations. These are the mental push-ups that build resilience. Painful? Yes. Unpleasant? Absolutely. But necessary? Without question. Every habit of avoidance is a chain. Every act of courage is a link broken. The more you practice discomfort, the stronger your mind becomes. Seek discomfort. Find strength. Discomfort teaches you patience, endurance, and self-reliance. Comfort teaches dependency, laziness, and entitlement. Choose wisely. The life you desire, focus, discipline, power, lives outside the comfort zone. Start small. Push your limits incrementally. One cold shower. One hard conversation. One extra mile. Every step is a statement. You are stronger than ease. Seek discomfort. Find strength. When you face resistance, you learn mastery. When you embrace difficulty, you reclaim control. The weak avoid, the strong endure. The weak quit, the strong advance. The weak seek comfort, the strong seek growth. Every time you willingly face discomfort, you train the mind to act regardless of fear, pain, or hesitation. You teach your brain that control is more valuable than ease. Seek discomfort. Find strength. Habitual comfort leads to soft thinking, distracted attention, and diminished willpower. Habitual challenge sharpens the mind, clarifies purpose, and solidifies dominance. Every moment of voluntary hardship compounds into a lifetime of resilience. Seek discomfort. Find strength. The ultimate lesson: discomfort is not the enemy. It is your training ground. Avoiding it is surrender. Facing it is power. Next, you confront the final battle, the one fought every day, inside your mind. Chapter 10. Win the inner war daily. Every day, you fight yourself. The lazy self. The emotional self. The distracted self. They never die. They never surrender. But you can out-discipline them. Control is not permanent. Mastery is not given. It's a daily choice, repeated moment by moment. Every morning, every decision, every impulse is a battlefield. The war is within. Win it daily. Your inner self is always negotiating with comfort, fear, and procrastination. It whispers, rest, delay, avoid. It creates stories to justify weakness. It attacks focus, discipline, and consistency. Your job is to respond, not react. To act when emotion resists. To move when resistance stands. To choose discipline over ease, clarity over chaos. The war is within. Win it daily. Every moment of control is a victory. Every resisted impulse is a win. Every time you choose purpose over desire, you sharpen the blade of mental strength. You don't fight once and rest. You fight daily, hourly, in every thought. Your mind will test you endlessly. It will offer a compromise. It will manufacture excuses. It will tempt surrender. The battle never ends, but neither does your power to dominate it. Visualize it, the warrior within you. He is patient. He is relentless. He is calm. He is precise. He is disciplined. Every victory, no matter how small, compounds into invincibility. The weak wait for external conditions. The strong create internal dominance. The weak react. The strong respond. The weak chase peace. The strong enforce it. The war is within. Win it daily. Action is the only proof of control. Thought alone is not enough. Desire alone is not enough. Execution, consistently daily, is the measure of mastery. Every day you face yourself, resist temptation, embrace challenge, maintain focus, and honor discipline, you gain power. Every day you falter, you pay the price. The mind is a battlefield. The strongest win.